Alright, so in the last video, part 1, I demonstrated drawing the front view and the side view of an eye and a nose. And I want you to do those two either in your sketchbook or your small sketchbook or your large paper. And I also want you to do a front and a side view of a mouth and an ear. So to do the mouth, what you have to remember is that because the upper lip is at an angle, it's almost always going to be in shadow. In most lighting situations, the upper lip will be in shadow and the lower lip will have not be in shadow and have a lighter value. So I recommend drawing these features larger than life size too, because then it gives you a little more room to draw. So so for a mouth, you could, with a really light line, make a line for the top of the upper lip. It comes up at a slant. Now I want you to be looking at someone's mouth. Make someone, be still for you and not speak, so that their lips are still. So then you can actually look at them and look at the shape of them and draw them. So it's tricky, but see if you can get someone to agree to do this, maybe while they're watching TV or reading the paper or something. So looking at the shape, looking at the slant of the top edge of the upper lip, it'll come to the middle point where it'll sort of have a dip and then up and then back down the other side, right? You'll have the line for the separation between the top and the bottom lip, right? So think of this the same as when we did contour line drawing at the beginning of the semester. Look at that contour and see if you can find any little dips or bumps or this or that, that happen in that line, and draw them as you see them. A lot of people will have a little dip in the center, but everybody's lips are different, so you have to check them out. Check it out really closely and really carefully, right? And then you might want to draw a line, a very light line, to outline what the bottom lip looks like, right? And then check proportion, right? So just like always with the eyes and with the nose and with everything. So check the size of the upper lip, compare it to the size of the bottom lip, maybe even measure, on your person to make sure you got it right. And then once you have the basic shapes down and the proportion right, the rest is all shading. It's all value, right? So remember, coming down from the nose, there's these two parts that are highlighted, and then here in the center there'll be a shadow. There'll be a little bit of a highlight right at the ridge, like right at the top of the upper lip. There'll be a really skinny highlight. And then there'll be shadow. There'll be some form of very subtle shadow, usually on that skin, that connects the mouth with the nose here. You might have a pretty dark line for the center line, but you won't have a dark line for the top or the bottom, just for the center. The center line here is usually pretty dark, and everything else is just a matter of shading and blending. With the top lip being much darker in value than the bottom. And if you want to do this as an erased drawing, then go ahead, feel free. If that works out for you, and it's much quicker and easier to just start drawing highlights with your eraser. For a lot of things, it works out better for me to do it that way, so feel free. Hopefully by now in the semester you can kind of know what works best for you in terms of starting a drawing. So I have some shadow, maybe some texture on the bottom lip. And then don't forget shading all the way around. So I might take my eraser, and if there's any highlights, maybe I shaded everything too dark, so there's going to maybe be some highlights here and there on the lips. And then usually just below the bottom lip, there's some shadow, because the face does curve inward there just before it gets to the chin where it's curving outward. When you're shading the skin or the face that is surrounding the features, you're thinking about the shape of that face. Where does it curve out? Where is it rounded? Where does it dip in? So when you draw your rectangle on your sheet of paper and put a mouth in there, don't stop shading at the lips, shade all the way around it too. So as I'm doing this shading, I start to draw the shape of the jaw and the chin as well. Just like the nose, there's a lot of subtle highlights and shadows on the lip, on the bottom lip, and all surrounding all the way around the edge of the lips. Like I said, there'll be a skinny highlight around the top. A lot of times there'll be a slight crease right here at the corners of the mouth. So look for that. All right, and then the side view of the mouth. Just like the nose, you're gonna, let's see, like here's the nose. You're gonna have it like the bottom part of the nose. Here's a big nostril there. And then you're going to start the lip. It comes down from the nose and starts to come out. And then the upper lip will go inward like this, right? And then the bottom lip will come out like this and connect like that, and then you'll have that dip for just above the chin, and then the chin. Right, so just sort of like the same shape as the side view of the eye. The side view of the mouth is more of a triangular shape, right? And after you get the proportion of the upper lip and the bottom lip and the width and everything correct, and then you're just gonna add value. So that is what that looks like there for the side view of the mouth. Okay, and then the final feature that I want you to do 2 views of is the ear. So you're going to look at the profile of a person to see the ear straight on, right? So, and draw it pretty big. Ears have a lot of detail and a lot of bumps and grooves, and so don't try to draw a tiny ear. Try to draw it really big. Maybe like this big. you know, and then you'll have, it'll be a lot of contour edges because you'll have this other contour that comes right on the inside of the outside edge where the ear curls around. You have this part of the where the ear is connected to the head. You have this part here that sort of bumps out like this. And then it comes around and makes that the ear canal, the entrance to the ear canal there. Right? You might have a shape on the inside of the ear here that causes, you know, some kind of highlight and shadow situation. But divide the ear up into these two basic shapes, like the outside ear shape and the inside ear shape. Okay? And then once you have that, you can start shading. All right, so usually the very inside of the ear will have the darkest shadows for obvious reasons. It's like a cave going back in there, and then the deeper it's going back there, the darker the shadows. And so on and so forth. And you'll have, of course, a shadow that comes on the inside of this ridge. So fully shade that ear. And if you, if the person you're drawing has hair that is that you can see around the ear, go ahead and draw that too. So this is, it might be coming like around the ear like this. It might even be covering over part of the ear. But try not to. Try to get them to pull their hair back behind their ear. You know? Or if there's no hair, if there's just skin, just draw whatever is there directly behind or below the ear. And this outside ridge of the ear is going to have, it's going to be like, it's round. So it's going to be like when we shaded this sphere. There's going to be a shadow. It's going to be similar to that anyway. With a very skinny shadow. And then a highlight, and then another shadow, right? And that shows that it's rounded. Okay, so that's a very brief and quick demonstration of the front view of the ear. And then to get the side view of the ear, you're going to look at someone facing them. So you're going to have like the side of their head, and then the ear is going to be much flattened. So here's a straight front-on view of the ear, and then the view of the ear when you're looking at a person from the front. It's going to be different for every person. But it might be something like, you know, something like this. So give it a shot. Give it a shot. So you're going to have two views of an eye, a nose, a mouth, and an ear. Okay, so that's kind of like your warm-up for practicing drawing the features of a face. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to approach drawing the entire head and shoulders. So all the features and the head.